What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another video. I got a couple of R5-D4 related items in. One of them modern, one of them vintage. And nothing too crazy, but I thought it was worth showing these off because I do love R5-D4. I've been trying to find, as you guys know who've been following the channel for a while, I've been trying to find an Empire Strikes Back R5-D4 to go along with these two mint on card examples. I've got the 21 back A that's graded 85 by Collector Archive Services, and then I've got the Palatoy Tri-Logo version graded AFA 80 that I picked up from Rogue 5 Vintage Toys on Facebook. But I've been trying really hard to find an ESB, and they either come up when I have zero money and I just don't have the funds to buy one, or they're at auction on eBay and the prices are ridiculous. The prices are ridiculous on everything right now, I know that, but it just seems like the Empire Strikes Back R5-D4 card backs have gotten pretty high. I'd love to find the 45 back to match my Death Star droid and my 21B droid that I have on that same card back, but it'll have to wait until next year most likely. But I did pick up a couple of other ones, and the first one is this one. This is the Vintage Collection version of R5-D4, and what an amazing condition. This is an incredible condition, just incredible condition. I'm really hopeful that it gets a 90 at least, or not a 90. I hope it gets a 90 plus. It's very, very faint. There's a very, very faint crease right above the hang tab, but that is really it. Otherwise, it is pretty much perfect. So here's the back of the card. This is VC40. And it's one I've been kind of putting off. It's got one little tiny nick right there, but pretty minor. It's one I've been putting off, but this one came up and it was in such good condition and the price was fair that I went ahead and picked it up. And you can see how R5-D4 looks relative to the vintage Kenner version. So quite an upgrade in terms of paint apps and the third leg and everything. But you know, obviously I'm very partial to the Kenner version, but a beautiful item that will definitely be sent off to Collector Archive Services at some point. I'm hoping for a 90 plus, but it'll probably get a 90, is my guess. But a beautiful, beautiful version of the Vintage Collection version of R5-D4 VC40. The second pickup was another loose graded R5-D4. And while it's not a red bar, which, you know, we've talked about this on the channel before, but there is a variation where that little rectangle is filled in with, they call it a red bar, but it's really like an orange bar. That's not what I got. I wish I did, but they're pretty expensive right now. But here's the one that was already in my collection. I picked this one up, I believe, from Dark Side Alliance over in the UK on Facebook. But this is an 85 grade Hong Kong 1978. And that's the key. Most of these Hong Kong R5-D4s have a 1978 date stamp on the bottom of the body. Well, this is the 1977 that I just picked up. This is an 80 plus grade. And so here's the label on that one, 1977, also a Hong Kong. Now, what's the big difference? Well, I think really what it boils down to is that in the Hong Kong factories, they just took the R2-D2 body, you know, the legs and the body, and attached the R5-D4 head to a 1977 date stamp R2-D2 body. So that's how these 1977 R5-D4s came to exist. And, you know, really the figure didn't start coming out until 1978 on the 20 backs and 21 backs, like you see behind this figure. So it's just a variation. It's a very kind of minor variation, but it's one I always wanted to add to my collection. But so the other thing is that you can get a no COO of this same figure, both in 1977 and in 1978. So those are another couple of variations. You can see where it says made in Hong Kong at the bottom there, made in Hong Kong. Let me see if we can find the date stamp. I don't know if we'll be able to see it or not. It's hard to see with all the case stuff in here, but anyway, so this is the 1977. Now, the other thing I thought it'd be kind of worth pointing out is, okay, one of these is an 80 plus on the left, and one of these is the 85. And so what makes the big difference? The stickers in general, you know, you could say that the 80 plus has maybe slightly more yellowing than the 85. So if you look at that sticker, this sticker looks a little cleaner. And this is just very, very slightly more yellowed. And then the other thing is that it does have a blemish right there on the sticker. As you can see on that orange bar there, there's a little scratch right there. So that's probably what caused it. There's also kind of a very, very minor scratch right there at the top of the sticker there. See if there's anything else that's kind of noteworthy, but yeah, you can really see that, you know, this is just slightly more yellowed. It's not significant, but it is just a hair darker in terms of age. So that's why it got the 80 plus, I imagine, versus this one that got the 85. You know, this sticker is very clean. There's no scratches or anything on that sticker, whereas this one has, you know, a couple of very minor scratches. The paint is very good on both. The other thing is, you know, you have to look at the paint. I would say actually that the paint on the 80 plus on the top of the head is better. So you can see how much darker that paint is. Let's see if we can get it focused a little better. There you go. You see how dark that paint is? Now look at the 80 plus, or excuse me, the 85. This is the 85. You can see how light that color is. So that's another difference. Now these are both Hong Kongs, but clearly the paint batch that was used to make the 1977 date stamp was a little darker than this one. The same with the eyes. You know, it's just a paint. I don't know if it's the paint has faded on this 85, or it just happened to have a lot better paint applications when this one was made. You can see also on the legs. The legs are pretty similar. It might be a little darker on the 80 plus. You could argue that the paint on the 80 plus on the legs is better than this one. This one's got some very light scratches there. Anyway, this is all minutia that you probably don't care about, but I just always think it's interesting to look at the same figure where the grades are so similar. I mean, 85 and 80 plus, that's a hair's breadth difference. And I think, you know, to me, the 80 plus has better paint than the 85, but the sticker is what really holds this one back. I think if this one had the other sticker, it would probably be an 85 or even an 85 plus. But anyway, so that's just a minor variation for the R5-D4 that you can look out for. I was eyeing one that was an AFA 80, and I almost got Boss Bounty to pull the trigger on it. It might have been a UKG. It might have been a UKG 85. And I almost got Boss Bounty to pull the trigger on it, but it sold. And I ended up getting this 80 plus also in the UK for slightly less. It was almost the same price. So AFA 80 plus versus a UKG 85 for the same figure. Whatever. It's about the same. It's about the same. So, but I would like to pick up a 1977 or 1978 no COO, which I assume were made either in the Palatoy factory or like maybe the Meccano factory. It's not a very uncommon figure, so that should be doable. My guess is that this one here is a no COO inside the Palatoy tri-logo. But it'd be nice to get a loose graded, you know, add a few more loose graded. Now, again, going back to the R5 with the filled in rectangle, even loose graded in high grade, like an 85 grade, you're talking, I mean, big money. I've seen them go for in the Facebook Deal or No Deal group, they've been hitting $1,100, $1,200, $1,300 in high grade. So they've gotten really expensive. And then we saw in the Hakes auction that 2 of them mint on card sold. I'm going on memory, folks, so don't quote me on this, but I think that the 21 back that had the filled in rectangle, that one was an AFA 75, I believe, and that one sold over $3,000. And then there was a 77 back A, Return of the Jedi, that also had the filled in rectangle, and that one sold, I think, almost $2,000. So mint on card, they're pretty expensive, but even loose graded in high grade, you're talking over $1,000 now for those, unless you get a deal. So, but anyway, I just thought you folks would like to take a look at some recent R5-D4 acquisitions that, you know, to add to my collection. I got the vintage collection version, and then one loose graded to add to the run. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.